Hello, welcome to another video. So here it is today, the last game of the season for Manchester United, the beleaguered, troubled team. It's been probably the worst season Manchester United have ever had since records began. And today is a game of attrition, really, and the club in a state where almost anyone could leave and go somewhere else. So we've got people like Bruno. He's been offered a lot of money to go and play for Saudi Arabia, for some Saudi Arabian club. So Bruno will probably go because United are out of Europe now. There's no chance of European football. And even next year, when you think about the teams at the top, United now really more or less at the bottom of the Premier League. So, amidst the clubs like Ipswich and Southampton, so it's no good that. So Bruno coming up towards his the winter of his career, so I think he's 29, something like that, so or 30. So he can go into the sun to Saudi. So this might be Bruno's last match today. It might also be Garnacho's last match, who's at the start of his career. He's 21. And as far as I can tell, the manager, Amorim, has told him he can find another club. So after showing his discontentment on Wednesday against Spurs. Then we've got Onana, who's not been good since he started. So he can find another club. And as well, as far as I can tell from the news that's coming out, so Onana can go. I mean, this is three major players: Onana, Bruno, Garnacho. Then we've got Shaw, who isn't a major player, who only seems to play well for England, and he shoved in the winning goal for Spurs in the Europa League 4 days ago. So Shaw, I mean, he, in effect, that goal, even though it looked like a mistake, he didn't mean to score an own goal. He helped Spurs win the Europa League and ensured that United have no Champions League football and are confined to the annals of history. So Shaw, really, wow. Eriksen, he's going on a free. He's been hot and cold, really, hasn't he? Bit like Casemiro is another one. So two previously great midfielders, Eriksen and Casemiro. Casemiro might go. I don't know anyone who'd want him, but Eriksen is going on a free. Lindelof's going on a free. I mean, these are main components of the team. It makes you wonder if Amorim's trying to dismantle the entire team. But if that was the case, if you sack everyone, even though a lot of them are arguably bad, where does that leave you? Some of the good ones that are coming up, like Yoro, he'll probably stay for a while. But people like Yoro and Ahmad, they'll be sought after by the bigger clubs now. The bigger Champions League clubs, the famous ones, Real Madrid, Barcelona. People like that might be going for, and the Italian clubs might be going for people like Ahmad. And you've got to remember, in my mind, we've got United in the 90s and the noughties when they were great. This is 25 years ago. And people like Ahmad and Yoro weren't even born then. So, it would be like, when I was a boy, someone telling me how great it was in the 60s. Well, I wasn't around. So it doesn't really mean anything to them. And football clubs are now filled with mercenaries. These are people who get the most money they can in the 15 years that they're able to play between the ages of like 18 and 33. They've got to make as much as they can, and every club comprises of mercenaries who will go where the money is and squeeze as much money as they can through their agents. So I don't blame them for that. Everyone would do the same. And then Rashford's gone. He's another one that's gone. I mean, I'm saying all this today as a summary. Rashford's virtually gone. He's with Aston Villa, which would be interesting to see today. See whether he's on the bench or not. Sancho's long gone. Anthony's gone. So what do you do to rebuild? You use a load of 18-year-olds. You put a load of 18-year-olds against someone like Haaland from Manchester City and all the great flair players. It's not going to be. I think now we're heading towards probably relegation this time next year. I think it'll come around that by about March we'll be in the relegation zone and probably be relegated next year to be in a Championship League club or Division 2 as I used to know it. And it'll take a long time to rebuild that. It's like a Humpty Dumpty club. Who can put United back together again? Now I think there are only two people who could have done that. Maybe three. So the first one would have been Alex Ferguson himself, because for 13 years since he's gone, it's been dreadful. It hasn't been as dreadful as people make out, but his shoes were so hard to fill that anything would have looked dreadful. It's just, do you know what I mean? It's like if you had Gordon Ramsay as a chef in a main London restaurant, and everyone's going and everyone's paying 400 quid for a meal and everything's great for 25 years, and then suddenly Gordon leaves. Anyone who fills his place, it's just going to look dreadful. It's going to taste dreadful. It's going to be dreadful. And they should have given the special one, Mourinho, a longer chance. They should have kept him there for 10 years or even longer. And I think he would have been the only one who could have filled Alex Ferguson's boots. And obviously they did give him a chance, and he did win a few things. They should have kept him instead of messing around with other people. David Moyes was the biggest mistake when he sacked all Ferguson's staff. So that was the start of the rot. He was the wrong one to start with, but Ferguson, I think, chose him so that he wouldn't look too bad, so his successor wouldn't look too bad afterwards. It looks like that to me. So the next man in isn't as good as the last one. Not many people would agree with that, but it looks like that just to me. It's an opinion, and so Moyes started the rot. I think Mourinho, if he could have come in and stayed in, that would have been good. People going, oh, he lived in the Lowry Hotel. So what? So what where he lived? He could have lived on the roof if he'd have made it good. Well, if the roof hadn't been leaking. So Fergie could have altered it. Mourinho could have altered it. And then the only other man who could still alter it, that could still come but can't anymore, would have been Ancelotti. If you look at Ancelotti's career, he's probably been as successful as Ferguson, and more successful in a way, because he's had vastly wider experience of different countries, different players. Just more experience. Ferguson realised that he was onto a good thing and stayed there for a quarter of a century, whereas Ancelotti's been everywhere. And obviously now he's gone to Brazil. He's going to be the next club manager of Brazil for the forthcoming World Cup, so he's out of the equation. And if you were judging whether to go to Brazil or Manchester United, what would you do? If Ancelotti had come to United, what would he do? Come to a career-ruining club? Not only has United ruined the careers, but not finances of so many players, but also ruined the managers as well. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's done much since managing the club. Ranić, where is he now? Is it Austria or something like that? You know what I mean? It's just no one can do it. No one seems to be able to do it. Ancelotti could have probably made a good fist of it. But then can anyone make a good fist of it with those players? Those players are the ones that Ten Hag bought and or oversaw the purchase of. And a lot of them are really, really dreadful. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Hoyland. That was a Ten Hag buy. All the ones mentioned above were, a lot were from Ten Hag, and like getting rid of Ronaldo and De Gea. Terrible, terrible mistakes. Basically replaced the greatest footballer of all time in Cristiano Ronaldo with Rasmus Højlund, and one of the greatest goalkeepers ever in De Gea with Onana. I mean, what's the Americanism? Go figure. It's just beyond belief. So that's where we find ourselves at the moment, as it says in the Tempest. We're shattered on the rocks of broken dreams, and time for a rebuild, time to do something anyway, at least, Amorim, I'm not sure he's the man to do it anyway. I don't think he's the one. It's been the worst, run for a manager, I think, in the history of the club since they played at Newton Heath. So I don't think he's right, is he? He loses almost every game. And then the European final, I mean, that wasn't Amorim's fault that Shaw scored an own goal and let Spurs through into the Europa victory. But, you can kind of blame the manager. He makes the selections. Last Wednesday were crazy selections to make. Everybody knows that. So there we are. What's the score prediction for today? So Aston Villa need to win. Not need to win, but to get European, to get into the Champions League, they need to win today. So they'll come out all guns blazing. We come out after the scene of many, many losses and troubles and infighting. No one knows who's going to play. I can't wait to see the team sheet at 3 o'clock. So we're an hour away from that now. And so United, I don't think they have the strength to beat Aston Villa. I don't think they have the strength to beat, the upcoming clubs like Leeds. We'll be playing them next year. That's going to be a washout. We just about survived relegation this season. So I think this is the day as well that Amorim will give a speech, so God knows what he'll say. A lot of the fans seem behind him at the moment. I think they just want hope, but I don't think he's the new hope. I think he's just a transient manager like Rangnick or Van Gaal or someone like that. I think he'll take bigger shoulders than that. I can't think of who. I often thought Zidane might be the one, but Zidane, again, does he want to ruin his career? These people, Zidane, Ancelotti, they're too big to come and fiddle around with a team that's nosediving at its own architecture. So what do I predict today? I think Aston Villa could come out like Liverpool did a couple of years ago. You remember when Liverpool scored 7? I think, was it 7-0 or 7-1? So Aston Villa could come out like that and do a massive 5-6-7-0. We might score one or get a penalty. Bruno might score a penalty if someone takes a dive at the right time. So it could be, let's think. But Aston Villa might, you see, they're all going on holiday soon. They'll be going to Dubai and Barbados, so they could play their socks off and really give it a lot of welly today. So it could be that, let's think, I think 4 or 5-1 to Aston Villa. Let me nail it. 5-1 to Aston Villa. And yeah, who knows what's next. I think next week we're playing some friendly, hybrid friendly somewhere in the Far East or whatever it is, a club called Hong Kong, and another one that I've never heard of. So, anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens today. 5-1 Aston Villa.